Fevicol's advertising journey has been a momentous one. It started as a small consumer brand which was seeking to replace animal glues with a synthetic glue. It then went on to connect with carpenters. It then went on to create its famous Two Elephants logo, then its first Haisha film, and then a whole set of iconic films over. So if you look at the Fevicol journey, it's characterized by two things. One is Fevicol has always been about the unbreakable bond, the atut rishta, so as to say. And that's what it's always exemplified. The second is Fevicol has always been about innovation. It doesn't matter whether it's a communication, it's our set of products, it's our policies, how we do things. Fevicol always is a pioneer there. It keeps pushing the envelope and wanting to do new things. So the Fevicol journey is always one which is exciting, which is always pioneering and exploring new areas.
Fevicol is an evolving brand over 60 years, and it's difficult to count the milestones. But I would say that Fevicol has really delighted and enthralled consumers over the years with its very engaging advertising, humorous advertising. And of late, in the last few years, we are deeply engaged with youngsters over the digital medium. And we continue to make sure that we are part of the conversation of the nation, of the topical events, and we keep delighting and keep building the proposition of unbreakable bonds. Brief for Fevicol doesn't change. It is always to keep building the idea and the thought of unbreakable bonds. And we have to keep the soul of the brand intact. We have to keep the same values and the same personality. Their job is just to ensure that the brand is always topical and maintains the same core elements of the brand, which are humor, earthiness, and genuineness.
See, as long as you're relevant, you're contemporary, and you have a strong consumer connect, frankly, that's what any proposition must do. And in our case, we believe the proposition of an unbreakable bond is a timeless proposition. It's the context that you keep placing it in and with whom you place it, which makes it modern, which makes it relevant. And therefore, as far as Fevicol is concerned, the wonderful thing is whether you're 16 or whether you're 60, you have the same affinity to the brand. See, because at Pidilite, firstly, we don't believe in this client agency divide. We're a co-ownership team that owns the brand Fevicol together, and we drive it together. We win together and we lose together. We succeed together and we fail together. And as long as you've got that, you're holding hands, you've got a team that is as passionate about the brand as you are, they own the brand as much as you do, you will always have a long-term relationship. And frankly, if Fevicol doesn't have a lamba rishta, then who will? Fevicol must have atut bonds, right? In all crisis management, the simple lessons are: first, A, always tell the truth. B, connect with the consumer. C, walk the talk. Right? D, remain true to who you are. And as long as you are true to this, it doesn't matter what crisis it is. Over a period of time, all of us are going to fall once in a while. It's about how quickly you get up and how confidently you get up that distinguishes one from the other. And that's frankly what one must seek to do. See, the fascinating thing was in the early 90s, we realized that a large part of our carpenter population is illiterate, and we need a symbol which in a sense symbolizes the brand, symbolizes the qualities of the brand, the strength of the brand, but also therefore even whether a person can read or not, so on and so forth. This stands as a mark of outstanding adhesive quality. And it was, I think, in 92 that we created the Two Elephants logo, and post that the Haisha film. And since then it has been an integral part of, today the Fevicol elephants are an integral part of the logo.
See, Fevicol is a universal brand. So a media mix is to talk to consumers as well as contractors and carpenters. So TV is indeed I would say, the lead medium, because we are a mass brand. We have to reach to all socioeconomic and population strata. But digital now forms a significant chunk of our spends because we want to keep talking to even the consumers who are coming into the fold, who will make furniture in the future, and we want to keep the brand contemporary and young. So we are actually increasing our, more than expenditure, it is the attention which the brand is giving to digital medium which is increasing. We are making sure that we are part of the conversations which happen in that medium. That's more important than expenditure. And engagement, of course, is most important, which brand carries on very well. Fevicol is very active on Facebook and Twitter, and it's always part of contemporary conversations, and those are the mediums which really matter. But as you know, every 3 years digital medium change, and the cycle is 2 to 3 years. So Fevicol would remain part of the conversation where the consumers are. Whichever is the medium, we'll be there. So it will depend.
It's a very difficult question. It's like asking to choose your favorite child.
Right.
But if you ask me which are the ones, I think the Fevicol bus.
In the Rajasthan.
The Rajasthan, yes.
Right.
I think that is an iconic. The fascinating thing is I've shown that ad in many international forums. It needs no subtitling. Everybody gets it and everybody gives it a standing ovation. I think the Fevicol egg. I think, for example, the current Fevicol, the new 60 years communication, I think it's in the same genre. If you ask me, I just love it. At a personal level, I love the 60 years communication. But fascinating thing with the bus ad is that the bus ad was actually supposed to be first shot here in Mumbai. And Prasoon felt that, listen, to get this thing, we should shoot it in Rajasthan. In those days, Fevicol was not such a big brand, so on and so forth. It was a considerable expenditure. But again, in the typical Fevicol spirit, we said, if it's right for the thing, let's do it. So we changed actually the last moment, the whole shootings shifted to Rajasthan. It was actually shot there, and the results are there to see. See, you can't pick out individual elements.
Yeah.
In the end, an ad is an integrated form of communication. Finally, it must tug at my heart, it must give me a little smile at the end of it, and I must want to share it with my family. Whether it's poetry, whether it's a song, whether it's humor, in the end, the integration matters. So I don't think we ever look at individual elements and say, hey, we must do this. What we are very keen about is, listen, it's fascinating. In our internal terminology, we have a simple measure called, does it meet the Fevicol standard? And because Fevicol sets its own bar. And therefore, if it meets the Fevicol, and the fascinating thing is, from my chairman downwards, there is a Piyush, there is a Prasoon, there is me, there is Vivek. All of us, one of our biggest jobs is saying, listen, does it meet the Fevicol bar? Does it cross that? We're not going to. Fevicol doesn't do ordinary stuff.